Hi, my name is Heather Carey. I'm an instructor at Buena Vista University. Today's recording is going to be over monitoring and reporting student progress. The first section we're going to be is monitoring for progress within the Achieve system. So as you can see, you'll have your annual measurable goal. The IEP team first has to create the goal because you can't monitor a goal without that. So you'll see the annual goal. But this section is going to be on how to monitor for progress. We'll document how often progress will be measured. Sometimes they're measured twice a month. That's the most common. Sometimes it's weekly, sometimes it's daily. So you'll be determine how often progress is measured on the goal by entering the number of times in the field. So you'll see that within here, and selecting the specific time frame from the drop-down menu. You must select one or more people from the drop-down list. So it could be the general education teacher, it can be the special education teacher, possibly a paraprofessional who will be responsible for monitoring this goal. Collaborators may also be listed. So you could have the special education teacher and then the paraprofessional as a collaborator, or the special education teacher and the general education teacher. Also, any additional monitoring procedures may be documented here. This is not a required field. Okay. You can add a service, support, or activity related to this goal by clicking on the Add Service, Support, or Activity for this goal button at the bottom of this section, or you may choose to address any of these items in the Services and section of the IEP. So let's look here. If we go into the student here, we'll go into the IEP, edit, go into the goals. So if we go, here into this is where we were talking, you can add activities and services. So if you had an activity or service that went along with that goal, you would put this here to support that goal. So if they had a paraprofessional to go with that goal, you could add that here. Okay. So then you would have to put what it is. So maybe they had program modifications to go with that. Or maybe they had some assistive technology to go with that, or supports for school personnel. Then make sure that it is a friendly to read description. How often? Is it daily, weekly, monthly, as described? And then who are the providers? Okay. And then if it's a new service, I would tag it for the prior written notice so that you know all of that stuff is, it goes right there, and then it's nothing new, and you have everything there that you know has to be completed. Then reporting progress to families. This section of the goals page allows you to record how often progress on the goal will be reported to parents by clicking the applicable radio button and enter the number of times in the field and select the time frame. So you have to report progress as often as report cards go out. So if report cards go out 4 times a year, that's how often that has to be the minimum number. So I know that we sent them out also at midterms, but you would want to talk to your AEA rep, about that. So then select the method of reporting progress by clicking any of the boxes that apply to the learner. You will document this for each goal individually. And we usually did updated goal pages. So if we looked at that here, I'll show you on the goals. Let's see, I will just do a math goal. Here for monitoring for progress, this is where you'd put in the name of who's going to do it, your collaborators as we discussed, at the same rate. And then here, We did updated copies of goal pages, or we can do the family portal, which is fine, but we still recommended that they send these out. And then we also would send an IEP report with report cards and progress reports. Saving the goal. Once all the required information has been entered, the complete and close button will become available and must be clicked to complete the goal. If there is something missing, you're going to have an IDR report. What that means is an incomplete data report. And it's going to take you back. And I know the first several times that I did that was very frustrating, but it's not going to let you finalize unless everything is complete. The Show Required button will draw attention to any remaining required fields on the page. Once the button is activated, red field lines as well as the text "Field is required" will appear in corresponding areas. You can use the tag for prior written notice, like I told you, to save information, and then that really helps you at the end because then you can go in and state why those additions have been made. The summary of goals. These are created and saved. They'll appear at a table at the bottom of the page. And then you can view, edit, or delete each goal by clicking on the corresponding icon. And then that warning icon lets you know if something has not been completed yet. And you can save your work at any time, and any incomplete goals will appear with a warning icon. So, student progress and growth must be monitored and communicated to IEP team members. Progress monitoring and reporting assist the IEP team to decide whether adjustments in services, teaching strategies, environments are needed to help a learner achieve their goals. So we used to always say if there's 4 data points above or below the goal line, or aim line, excuse me, that tells us to look to see if we need to change instruction, if we need to increase, lower. It's not required, but it's still best practice. And then you can always, even if you don't change things, you can make a comment in that goal to say, hey, you know what, I looked, or we made adjustments, and then we know that you've been doing your due diligence with those goals. The special education teacher and/or service provider responsible for each IEP goal must regularly monitor progress toward meeting the annual goal. Parents must be informed of their students' progress on IEP goals at least as often as parents are informed of the progress of learners without disabilities. So again, think of those report cards going home. The progress report to parents must describe progress on the learner's annual goals and identify the extent to which the progress is sufficient to enable the learner to achieve their goals by the end of the year. So IEP teams may report progress to parents via an IEP report with report cards and progress reports, updated copies of the IEP goals, make sure the graphs are included, or another method which could be considered. I hope you find this video helpful. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to your instructor or your AEA rep. Thank you so much.